Hey everybody, this is Lynette with the Skin Candy. Thank you so much for joining me again today on another one of our soapy time adventures. So today, this is really going to be a very short and sweet video, and maybe I'll combine a couple of these together. I don't know, because it's just the same process over and over again. But this, I am remaking my dish soap. Now I've done this a couple of other times on the channel, but it's been a while since I've actually had a video up on it. And this is my, sorry, I'm trying to make some adjustments on my camera. This I'm going to be making is Citrus Splash. And this uses an essential oil blend of orange, lemon, and lime. And I love it. It smells so good. So this dish recipe, soap recipe, I have kind of modified here and there. It is not a 100% coconut oil soap. It's 82% or 85%. I don't remember. I'd have to look at my notes again. Let's see. It's 85% coconut oil. It is 3% stearic acid and 12% olive oil. Yes, that's right. And the reason why I add 12% olive oil is because it has just a little bit of conditioning to it, but not enough to take away from the cleansing properties and the hardness properties of the coconut oil. So normally I put my molds in a porcelain ramekin, and then I fill the rest with these flour soaps. And then I pour them into my ramekins, and then whatever's left over, or for my refills, I do the molds. But I've actually had a request from a client to have them be round, and so right now the only thing I have is a PVC pipe. So we're kind of doing an experiment. I had some PVC pipe that I used from years ago when I was making a huge wholesale order of shaving soap for a client, and so we used PVC pipe, and I had these were really big. So I had these black ones. These were 30 inches long, and I had ones that were 60 inches long. So I just had my husband cut these in half, and then I went and got these rubber caps. So this had like a little metal thing that you can tighten this on, but I figured I didn't need it. But so this is just let me back out just a little bit so you can see just a little bit better. So this is a 15-inch PVC pipe, 3 inches across. Most people, when you see them making round soaps, they'll use like the 2-inch. But because this needs to fit into my ramekin, which is about 3 inches across, I decided to use the 3-inch. So we're going to experiment and see. So I have my rubber stopper here. The other one I'm trying with is I'm going to try one with some wax paper in it. Now I did one with another one on a column mold, a silicone column mold, and I think it's from Brambleberry. And it was a nightmare. So first of all, try to get it out of there. It was crazy. And I let it sit for too long. And I soaped too hot. So there were a lot of tragedies going on there. So I'm not soaping too hot this time, but I'm probably not gonna keep this in as long. I probably won't keep it in 24 hours. So it's already 4 o'clock on a Saturday, so I don't know, I might be pulling this out at 10 or 11 o'clock tonight. So I'm going to try to see if I can get this to work with wax paper, or freezer paper. The last time I did this, the freezer paper, the soap actually ran into the inside curve, the inside fold, and then it molded and I couldn't get it out. So I'm hoping that that's not going to be the problem this time. I think I might pour it on an angle. So I'm actually going to be doing 2 batches of soap. One batch is going to be in here, and one batch is going to be in here after I pour my ramekins. So, I might as well get those ready because I don't need my silicone mold for this. So I have a big wholesale order that is asking for dish soaps in the ramekins. So I need to get those done. So I'll be doing 8 ramekins of the soap, and then I'll be pouring the rest in here, in whatever's left over. So I already told you what my oils were. My lye water has sugar, sodium lactate, and then sodium hydroxide and water. And I did a little bit, I did about 5 ounces more water. I was doing a 1-to-1, but because some of these soaps that I have to do, some of the fragrances do tend to accelerate a little bit, I do use a little bit more water. So I added about 5 ounces more water in here. So we'll see what happens. Last time I was doing the heat transfer method, where I had all my coconut oil in a container, and then I poured the hot lye solution in there, and I did a 1-to-1. So I did a 1-to-1 lye solution to water ratio, and it worked fine, but it was, the coconut oil, it wasn't enough to cool down the lye water, so I was soaping it about 135. So a lot of my soaps, the ones that were in the column molds, it started getting really hot and started to volcano, so I had to throw it in the freezer. And then some of my ones in the ramekins even got hot. So we're going to be soaping way cooler. I have a little blood that wants to come join the party. So this is at 100 degrees, and my lye water is sitting around room temperature, which is about 70 degrees. It said 72, but I got some lilan on there, so I think we are ready to go. I'm gonna grab a thing for this. So yeah, once this goes, it tends to take just a minute to come to trace, but then once you start pouring, it's just gangbusters. It's just really fast. So I'm gonna turn this down, and then we're gonna add our lye water. So without further ado, let's get soaping. Okay, so we have this one now in the mold with the freezer paper. This is experiment number 2. These rubber things are holding up very well. I didn't have to put anything on the bottom to seal it. So if any of you, I guess the question for today is if any of you have ever made soaps in PVC pipe, how do you get it out? Do you do freezer paper? Do you put it in the freezer and let it freeze first? I mean, I have watched several videos. One was Ellen Ruth soap, and she used plastic poly tubing to put in the PVC bag, the PVC pipes, which I used that. But the problem is finding a bag that was gonna fit the diameter correctly, which I'm having a hard time finding that because my math isn't turning out right, which isn't surprising. But then I saw one, Love and Soap, where she did it just exactly like this. And she did a video of how she got it out of here, and she just turned it upside down, let gravity move it, and then she just pushed it out. And then also Soap and Clay. I've seen one with her where she says she puts hers in the freezer and then it just pops right out. So I'm anxious to see what's gonna happen. If these don't turn out, I'm gonna have a lot of soap for laundry detergent because that's what I use it in. Let me show you what a couple of ones that I did, how they turned out. I mean, they turned out horribly. So this was one that I did and it was in the bag. And as you can see, this is way smaller. I mean, it can fit right down in there. So it's really only about, I would say it's probably only about maybe 2 to 2.5 inches wide. Let's see, do I have my measuring tape? Measuring tape close by? Oh, I do. So if we measure this, I need it 3 inches, and this is just tiny bit more than 2.5 inches. And by the time this gets done curing, it's gonna be probably about 2.25 inches. And if you can see the bag, it left ridges all over it, which isn't horrible. Now this one, I tried to hang the bag and it got really hot and the bag folded, it creased, it was horrible. So, and really weird that it's got soda ash on it when I did a 50%, this is when the ones I did was 50% lye solution. So the 50-50 blend. So these are all going to be turned into laundry detergent, which is fine because I need laundry detergent. I made some with that column mold, and the second batch, let's see, is that here? Oh yeah. So here's the size of, here, let me bring this back over. So here's the one I did with the column mold. Now this column mold one, it would be perfect. It's a perfect size. It looks like it's about, yeah, it's exactly about 3 inches, and it fits perfectly inside the ramekin. However, trying to get it out of the mold was kind of a nightmare. I ended up having to, I think I was able to use my single bar cutter, but I had to go through it really, really slow, and I ended up doing them really thin because more than half of it wasn't working out, and it turned really hard really fast. So that's why I'm doing more water with this one to hope that maybe it'll keep it a little bit softer for longer. I don't know, but look at the size difference between these two. I mean, this fella sits right on there. So yeah, those are my experience. This is 3 batches of soap that I ruined. So I'm just gonna shred it up, turn it into laundry detergent, which, by the way, I love my handmade laundry detergent. It is so good. And this is really getting warm. I can feel it. So this Country Clothesline, and then I call it Country Breeze. I haven't used it in anything else. I haven't used it in regular soap, but it does tend to accelerate just slightly. That's why I use the more water version with it, and I don't use the entire amount of fragrance oil because it is very strong, and also because it does tend to, it can overheat. So these are already getting quite warm. I don't think that they'll get to the point where they'll volcano, but they're already, I mean, they're already pretty solid. I mean, look at that. There's no jiggle. So yeah, this is getting warm. So that's why I hand stirred in the fragrance oil, because I've worked with this long enough that it's just easier to just let it, to hand stir it and take that time than to try to fight it. And so I just make sure that everything's emulsified before I go ahead and add my fragrance oil. So we will be back tomorrow to unmold my PVCs and cross your fingers and your toes for me. And then hopefully we will have some amazing round soaps and I can make my client very happy. So until then, we'll see you later.